All right, part 2 of the video. Again, look at my watch. October 14th, 2 days after purchased this Pontiac Firebird. Again, 326, but with a 400 engine in it. Modeled to replicate a 400 in badging. So let's look quickly in the trunk. As I said, a little bit of excess wiring here. Make sure that all looks okay. It did come with this spare tire with the Pontiac rally rim. Might go with something like that when I buy new wheels and tires, but we'll see. Came with this floor mat, a little bit of surface rust under the trunk mat. Not really all that bad though. Again, it's surface rust in places. I think he hosed it off before I came to pick it up, so a little bit of lingering water in there. If we look underneath, that's some excess foam stuff, a little bit of rust, but not anything that's really worrisome. I have it checked out. Relatively good shape. So that's the trunk. Trunk stays open. Fits really well. Closes solid, but the panel gaps on the trunk, pretty uniform all around. Looks good. Again, the 400 badging, even though it's got a 400 in it, but it's not a 400 originally. A little movement on that eye. To go inside, I already explained that there's an issue with this window, it being out of the track, and you kind of got to use your hands to keep it going straight. Here we are inside. The Hurst shifter, auxiliary gauges, radio I explained in the last video, not currently working because the antenna is not installed. Prior owner said the antenna completes the circuit, and so without the antenna being installed, it doesn't function at all. Lights all work. Gauges all work, speedo works, odometer works, fuel gauge works, blinkers work, wipers work, headlights work. So all in all, in good shape. Relatively new carpet, these Pontiac floor mats. A few little things. This speedometer, a little wiggly. You can see I can move it with my foot, not my favorite. Parking brake works. It's a little, could use a refresh. It's a little sort of out of whack, but functional. Clutch, brake, all work great. The brakes work pretty well. Clutch works well. A little bit of rust on the steering column, but it's an old car. It's a driver. One thing to note, there was the prior owner put this car after he fixed it up in his garage or barn in Northern California, some rodent damage. So yesterday when we were cleaning out the car, we found 3 little itty-bitty dead mice under the back seats, and they made a little bit of a home in certain parts of the car. So a little bit of chewing here in the headliner. As you can see, it's mostly covered up when you put the sun visors up, so doesn't bother me too much, but we'll be sure to try and fix that. Headliner's in relatively good shape. That piece over there, you can see it's kind of separating from the that back C-pillar, so it's kind of coming off and somehow needs to be put back into place. Passenger door has a door lock that functions, although the chrome coloring is worn off the plastic, so I need to update that. This door handle's awfully sticky. Takes a lot of leverage to get that thing to open. Mirrors are in good shape. All in all, pretty good. You know, this is the driver's seat belt over here. This is the passenger seat belt, and the female end is just not working. So, you know, the car has 4 sets of seat belts, 2 in the rear, 2 in the front. The 2 rears, one is working, passenger side rear is working. The passenger side front is not, and on the driver's side it's reversed. Driver's side is working, rear is not. And again, it's this female receptor in all cases. This button gets kind of jammed. There's a lot of rusty business going on in there, and just kind of old and rusty on the back there. Fabric doesn't move very well, so we're going to replace those. Console in relatively good shape, just awfully dirty and needs a clean. Kind of describes everything in here, but again, we're going to get it detailed. Dash is in good, relatively good shape. That's not rust, that's just the leaves. 2 sets of plates, and they're the real original old ones. Black plates, not the new fake black plates that they just started coming out with. Here's the rear seat, all reupholstered, good shape. Again, that headliner trim piece is sort of coming off and starting to fall down. Carpets are in relatively good shape. Prior owner had put Dynamat sound deadening and heat protection material throughout the cabin, so that's good and keeps the sound down and the heat away. You can see there's some rust on the seat frame, but they function just fine and not bad. A little bit of a rip there in the rear. This was broken, and this rear window was not responding to turning the crank. When you turn the crank, it just spun around and around, so it wasn't gripping. But that was the one thing I've already replaced, because without it, the windows didn't meet together, and so in any weather or car wash, water would get in. So I felt I needed to fix that right away. A little bit of bubbling in this headliner panel. Looks like it's a bit of a different color. Maybe it's a bit of different fabric, but it doesn't appear that way in person. It looks a little more exaggerated on the camera. Again, it's that same piece over there that's having some trouble. The headliner, really in great shape. It's a shame that our mice friends made a home up under the visors. It was under these seats when I pulled these out yesterday. You can pop these seats off here, just pop them up. But underneath in here was where the mice had kind of had a little home for themselves. And we found a few of them last night. So that's it on most of the things that exist on the car today that we're going to hope to upgrade when we do some updates to this car. But you know, all in all, we love the car, and it's going to be a lot of fun with the kids putting this thing back in a tip-top shape, or at least, you know, good driver quality shape. So thanks.